welcome back to another episode of Core Discussions. Being that it is our December season when you are seeing this, we decided to do a Christmas themed episode. So we have Christmas songs that has come out, and now we are going on to Christmas movies. So before we get into all the rules and how we did it, my name is Legacy. I'm the host / moderator of this fun Core Discussions podcast, wearing one of our great t-shirts designed by this guy right here. I'll go around the chat and let everybody introduce themselves.
Hello, everyone. Max. I'm one of the triplets in the Core Discussions, and I'd like to welcome our special guest back.
Candace, his wife.
Okay,
I am Bobby D3.
I'm Ian Catan. Welcome.
And I'm Vitamin J. Get the daily dose you need the most right here.
All right. So all that we're missing from our user group is, unfortunately, Hunter had other obligations.
But he won't be featured in here anyway, because why?
Because he does not understand the difference between a movie and a special. So we did Christmas movies. There was several rules we had to it. First, the movie actually had to have a big part of Christmas in making it to the theme. So no, Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. It takes place on Christmas Day, but it really has nothing to do with Christmas. Harry Potter has a Christmas scene. Still not a Christmas movie because one scene. So it did not count if Christmas is not quintessential to its plot, and then you can just put it any other time. The other thing is we put a time limit just to make it clear. It was an hour and 15. The movie, it must hit an hour and 15. Otherwise, it is a Christmas special. Somebody was a little bit bitter about that because there are a lot of great Christmas specials that we love. And maybe in a future year, we'll do Christmas specials. But it must be a movie because even me, I was a little upset. After I put that rule down, I found out Flintstone's Christmas Carol is only an hour. So I couldn't put it in. And, I mean, it's really good. That's really great. And I'll go into more detail about that. So those are the rules we had. So those are rules and parameters we put just to make it very clear so we didn't have 50,000 movies because otherwise it would have been really hard, especially with all the ABC Family specials that we see each year. I really enjoy a lot of the old ones.
And so Hunter was a bitter Barry and gave Legacy only with a list of 2 movies. And we are not going to accept that. So
he'll be forever shunned.
So Hunter, if you ever listen to this, never mind, I'll say it off record.
You're shunned. Shame him.
Your check is cut.
I will say too, since the viewers know the rules now, feel free to post your list before you watch and see how much it links with ours. That would be really cool.
Drew, and then check it out, figure it out. I did get over 20 movies, so again, there was wide variation. Only the number 1 and 2 movie were voted on by everybody, so that was the only consensus. Otherwise, every other movie, not everybody voted on. So, which I think the top movies are rightfully so in their spots. All right, are you all ready to go?
Ready.
Let's do it.
So, in our first ever spot for Core Discussions, there was actually a 4-way tie for the last one.
Oh wow!
For ours coming in at 7th place, 4 different movies, all coming in with 14 points. All right. The first one we will go ahead and discuss is a movie, and somebody told me off camera they're disappointed because I've never seen this movie or any of this series. Is going to be Ernest Saves Christmas. Mr. Vitamin J voted it at number 3. Max voted at number 7, and Candace put it at number 9. So you all can discuss this movie.
Look, I know Ernest isn't exactly highbrow stuff, but Jim Varney his mannerisms and his characters, and not just a Christmas movie, but in all the Ernest movies, are so funny that is this Rotten Tomato rating I'm looking at is just disrespectful to his name.
Got a 36 on the tomato meter, 42% on audience score.
I don't understand how you could hate Ernest. Look, again, it's not highbrow stuff. This isn't going to be the one you're going to be like, oh, this was sophisticated material. But his movie is fun. And his Christmas movie, it is earnest, but it still has some nice sentimental value in it. So I disagree with this list or the Rotten Tomato score, and I'm going to sit you down and watch it one day because it's good stuff.
I have to admit, I didn't see it until we had kids. But when our son was 2, he thought it was the most hysterical movie he'd ever seen. I mean, he laughed. Kid laughed his butt off. It was great.
Because Jim Varney is hilarious. Well, no one disagrees with it.
I had it high on my list. It'd be a liar if I say it wasn't high because of nostalgia, because we watched a mess out of Ernest movies as kids. But I don't know, I think this is the best Ernest movie.
I would agree.
I don't know. It's just a nice Christmas movie, and then you get Jim Varney's humor does very well with kids, and some of the stuff he does is still kind of funny even as an adult. So
His lawyer character and his grandma character are some of the funniest things you'll see.
yeah, Astor Clement is his Astor Clement character is really good. I can't remember the Nelda's the
Yeah.
grandma character.
Most people know him as the Slinky Dog in Toy Story 1 and 2. I
True.
think he's alive for the second one.
If anyone knows, this is the only Ernest movie not to have a villain in it.
Interesting. All right. Our next movie that we are going to get into real quick is a classic. Got a 67% score on Rotten Tomatoes, 86 audience score. It is known by many people, played throughout many a time. I'm trying to get the...
I was like, it looks like you stole.
Yeah. One of the critics did say, I will laugh out loud every time I watch this. This is my favorite from this franchise. Vitamin J put it number 1. Max put it number 8. And Candace put it number 10.
Jacob, we knocked yours out the way early, huh?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised this. So what place was this? 8?
9. Well,
9.
tied for 7 to be. Tied for 7.
Jeez,
Yeah.
that's crazy. This is. I watched this movie just today. Just to let you know, I watch it every year. It's like it's probably the funniest Christmas movie in my opinion. The National Lampoon movies, at least the early ones like this, were still hold up quite well. And it's insanely quotable. I'm kind of surprised this low on the list. I thought y'all would be high cultured.
Oh my God.
I have it on the list.
Never
It's
seen
number
it.
12 on mine, Jay. It's number 12 all the time.
If I remember correctly, a fun fact about this movie, I believe the guy who ended up directing Home Alone was supposed to direct this, but he said Chevy Chase was such a butthole that they didn't get along, so he directed Home Alone instead. So it worked out both ways because this was still a great movie, and Home Alone. Well, we'll talk about that later. I'm just guessing, just throwing it out there, but we'll talk about that too. But
You might talk about it twice. I don't know.
maybe. But now this National Lampoon's, like Jacobs or Vitamin J said, is hilarious. There's more. I will say it's still kids can watch. It's more, got more adult humor in it. So that's why it holds up for him more so nowadays. Because when we were children, we didn't really watch it that much. But I do watch it every year now, and yeah, it's probably the funniest I've ever seen Chevy Chase be. And I'm not a huge Chevy Chase fan. But,
Yeah, I mean, like outside of National Lampoon movies and oh god, that basketball movie he did, I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, outside of like that certain like short gap in Chevy Chase's career, he was really good. Obviously, Caddyshack, but yeah.
He's good in Community, but he's kind of essentially playing
Yeah,
himself. Just
I
unstable.
agree with Max. I'm not a big Chevy Chase fan. I will say this movie does perfectly encapsulate the chaoticness that Christmas can be when you gather a lot of family members. It's perfectly captured that.
I do love the running gag in the movies that children never be the same actors.
They just need to stop trying to bring it back because they try to do the
They try
vacation
to bring
again.
back Ed Helms as Rusty, I think. And yeah, no one. I worked at the movie theater, and I can just assure you, no one came to see it.
Well, yeah, it was like his son or something, and yeah, it just didn't hold up.
Yeah. You got anything there, Candace?
Yeah, I think they said it all.
Okay. I'm gonna have a very honest confession.
Never seen
I've
it.
never watched this whole thing through. I've never watched this whole
Have you
movie.
watched any of the other?
He hadn't seen
No,
Ernest, he hadn't seen this.
I've seen pieces. Vacation, the one in Vegas. I saw like the last 10 minutes of it. I've just never been inclined.
Not shocked.
I just not the thing is bad. It just was never. I don't know. I kept saying I'll watch it, then I don't.
Probably the Digimon Christmas special was on at the same time.
If you didn't catch, that's a reference for him liking Digimon more than Pokemon, which is unheard of.
That's not this podcast. All
I'm just
right,
saying,
that's not
he is
this one.
referencing another episode. Okay.
That's not this. All right, we're gonna go. I'll move on to. So the scoring I said first was actually for this movie. Mr. Catan, you voted this movie at number 2. Max put it at 10, and D3 put this at 7. It is A Christmas Carol, the 1984 version.
I just gotta say, someone else can take the majority of this, but I didn't think this had a snowball's chance of making it on here. So I'm glad we had some class. Who voted for this? Was
I did not.
3.
I did not.
You fellas had some class.
This is not the best.
Right
I'm just gonna throw this out. This is not the best version of the Christmas Carol.
It is.
So you all are like,
I will agree. It's not the best version of Christmas. It's the best live action version of Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
That can't be disputed.
Yeah, for me, I was just trying to do the most
Yeah,
traditional. I like several different ones, but I was trying to do the one I thought would be the most popular on the list. There's several different ones I like. I even like the play locally that they have. I forget.
Yeah, the local player is really good.
The local play near us is like the guy is just like a freaking monster genius.
He's a legend. He's a legend.
Like, he does like public events too. Like I remember like one year, there was some saying, I won't go into politics, but Kim Jong-un was like talking about how he had like a big nuke. And there's this one point where literally like during one of the scene transitions, like you see like one of the actors like dressed up as freaking Kim Jong Un like run across the stage with a missile. It was like to pay off that thing that happened literally that week or something like that. So
if anyone's curious about his name, he's Ira David Wood III.
Yeah.
He has a very famous daughter, Evan Rachel Wood.
Yeah, they're super super talented. But back to the actual play and movie. It's just like a good it's kind of similar, like the type of person I am. I like the Grinch, I like the Scrooge. They're kind of hipster when it comes to Christmas a bit. And so it's cool seeing that side of like, oh, this person's not happy for whatever reason. And some people in life are just not happy during Christmas because they have like Scrooge is pretty like old. He's like older in the play movie. And so like he's someone kind of on their last legs, like, and so there's some people in real life, that have family members and stuff like that go around. So they really just don't like Christmas, or they just don't have the heart to care about other people who are suffering, like little Tim in that movie. And so like it's cool to see this is real human emotion. There's always going to be people like this. It could just be just through what their experience is. And so it's an important story for them, like to refine the magic of Christmas and like him being visited by the 3 ghosts, the past, present, and future. It's just really symbolic of like, hey, you can. A lot of Christmas movies are about young people, which is cool. Or people are, so it's nice to have like some movies like, if you're on your older side of life, like, hey, Christmas can still be important to me. The magic, it's still there. And so that's a story I feel like people can resonate with a lot. So that's why it deserves to be on that spot.
And the reason why I picked it is because there's no actor I think that has embodied Ebenezer Scrooge quite like George C. Scott. He just felt like the perfect casting choice.
Preach.
To play Scrooge.
Preach
I mean,
it.
first of all, he's one of the great actors of his time. He brings the gravitas to be Scrooge. When he's being angry and miserly, you feel it. You think that he might actually be mad on set. Then when it becomes George,
He probably was. He probably was.
I feel like I'm in church. You preaching right now?
He's old. Of course, he's angry. Like, come on.
George C. Scott is a legendary actor, and he's by far the best live-action actor that ever played Scrooge.
Yes. I would say the only person who can compete with George C. Scott at playing a grumpy old man was Walter Matthau. That's it. Yeah. You haven't seen this version either, have you? Have you seen this version?
I've seen it. It was okay.
And you know what's surprising? This is released as a TV movie.
It was there. It happened. I watched it. Did I hate it? No. Did I love it?
This is the best. I guess I kind of use it. This is the most one of the better grounded takes of a movie with 3 ghosts in it, but more grounded Scrooge movie that you'll see. They kind of make it more like set in the time, make it feel like that time.
And a lot of people do musicals. This is not really a musical movie.
I don't even think it has any singing.
It might have some. I can't remember. It might have 1 or 2 moments.
This is one of the inferior versions of Christmas Carol.
It's not.
I've said it. It's come out of my mouth. I'm sorry. It's come out of my
Name
mouth.
one live action version better.
Okay, live action. What about all the cartoon versions?
That's a different.
You
That's
know
not.
what?
We're talking about
Technically,
movies. We're talking about movies.
there's another one that technically you could say is
We're
live action
talking
that I
about-
think is a better version.
It's on the
That is a
list.
better version. All right, so we're gonna move to the next one, which is also another version of the Christmas Carol, and I quote: "The sets are detailed and charming. There are usual, lively, instantly forgettable songs."
Instantly
forgettable.
Yeah, it's like this guy gave him like a great
He meant unforgettable.
unforgettable is what this person wrote. Critic, he's a top
That's why you
critic
can't
too.
trust the critics. They don't know what they're talking about.
Several favorites. All right, and we are going to talk about the famous Muppets Christmas Carol,
But before
which
we-
has a 76% on Rotten Tomatoes and 86% audience score. A better version of a
Before
Christmas
y'all
Carol.
get started on that, I want to ask one thing. How come your version of Christmas Carol gets the puff pieces with the read of the critic review and the Rotten Tomatoes score? I don't get that on mine.
I
You
couldn't
get the-
find
because
it. I
feel like-
searched. I couldn't find it.
Christmas Carol, 1984.
This seems kind of
I
biased.
put it in. This one was voted on number 10 by me. Vitamin J put it at number 5. Candace put it at number 7. And D3 put this at number 8. So this is a better one than the other one. I'll let the other ones go.
I mean, I had one spot below it, so.
I let my wife talk that because this is one of her favorites. So
Okay, so I mean, Muppet Christmas Carol, classic. It's got the Muppets in it. It's got Michael Caine in it. I mean, it's got music. People are happy. And again, like the guy said, the sets. I mean, like it's just a beautiful movie. Beautiful.
Michael Caine's a good Scrooge, not George C. Scott, but he's good.
He's very good.
He does a great
It's
job.
not George C. Scott.
Yeah, just the movie was a whole lot better. Just that's it.
Yeah, and Max, as to why,
Jacob, what'd you say?
as to why Philip didn't do your puff piece with the Rotten Tomato score for your version is because he was so bored watching it, he didn't even bother. Whereas
He's on mine because if you see, he didn't vote for that one either. So
Hey, Batman J, how about you look good on that?
Whereas with the Muppets Christmas Carol, he had all these things in the movie that entertained him.
I'm
with
sorry.
the Muppets
Maybe
humor.
1984 is just too adult, too sophisticated
Oh,
for you.
I think
Look,
that's what it is.
here's the thing. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not to you of, oh, we need to make it new age. We need to renovate it. No, sometimes just keep it where it is. The classics are the classics. You don't have to reinvent them. Just keep doing it.
Yeah,
in the
that's what
time
they
period it is. Okay? It works.
did. Yeah, that's exactly what mine did. Thank you.
I will say, like I said, when you do a Christmas Carol, you do have to do something to make yourself different than all the other versions. Because if you've seen the Christmas Carol once, you know it by heart. You got to do something different.
Exactly.
I'll give Muppets Christmas Carol that, and I will say I do like how they have Rizzo the Rat and Gonzo be the narrators, and Gonzo, he said it was Charles Dickens.
It is a very fun movie.
True. And that's what you need, especially sometimes. Muppets, Christmas Carol, two great things. Put it together, bam, it works. All
I'll
right.
say the weakest link in Muppets Christmas Carol is the Ghost of Christmas Past, in my opinion.
That was, I forget who.
All right, we are going to our sixth place movie with 17 points. It was voted on by 3 of us. It's actually all 3 of the people right here at this table were the ones who voted for it. It is a classic with Arnold Schwarzenegger as well. It is featuring a boy and the lengths a parent will go to give a child a toy, a Christmas toy he really wants. It is Jingle All the Way. I put it at number 4. Both Max and Candace put it at number 6. So I really like this movie. Again, I saw this as a child, one of my childhood movies, but I really just enjoyed kind of just the fun. 1, it was involved superhero, and 2, I think I like the message. That's going to be later in some of my later Christmas. What I really relate highly is the message of like what Arnold Schwarzenegger goes to give his son that toy, and like all the things he goes through just to give him like that toy he really wants so bad. So I thought that was kind of a cool message. Also, it has Sinbad in it,
Yes.
which he is hilarious. Like he just adds was it 90s Sinbad?
90 Cent back.
Sinbad.
That's
On
goat
point.
stuff.
He had some good stuff
Hey, man,
over
Good
there.
Burger. That's good stuff too.
So it is not rated highly by critics, 17%, and audience is 38%. I will say yes, is Arnold Schwarzenegger the greatest actor? No, but I think just with the Christmas spirit and the point of the movie, I think it's really good in that aspect of just being so entertaining and everything, just like the craziness and
Let's not downplay. Arnold Schwarzenegger's a goat. Okay, we're not going to disrespect Arnold Schwarzenegger. Not while I'm here. But no, Jingle Way, I'm sure Jacob's going to jump in at some point. He told me about this the other day that he is not such a fan of this movie anymore.
Oh, okay. So okay.
Go ahead.
I liked this movie as a kid. I thought it was really entertaining. I thought I really liked Arnold Schwarzenegger. We were huge Schwarzenegger fans, and I'm sure most kids
I
were.
still am.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Same.
Yeah. I still like him, but we were like, I think, as a kid, he was my favorite actor. But anyway, I don't know if any of y'all have rewatched this movie recently.
every
I
year.
have,
Every year.
yes, multiple times.
This movie, I rewatched it hoping to get some sense of joy, but there was no joy to be found. I did not like the movie much at all when I rewatched it.
It's good.
It's like a similar movie. I compared it to when I was talking to Max, like We're Back, Dinosaurs, whatever that movie was, that cartoon dinosaur movie. I rewatched that. We liked it a lot as kids. Rewatched it, and it was absolutely terrible. And this is kind of the same thing.
No.
In fact, Jake,
Sinbad is great as 90s Sinbad always is. There are good parts in this movie, but overall, not even nostalgia could save it for me.
No, yes, it could.
Max, I have heard Jacob
Yeah,
say he prefers Jingle All the Way 2 with Larry the Cable Guy.
I did not say that. I did not say that. I didn't even know until we were doing. I was looking at Christmas movies that they even did a sequel, or at least I left it out in my memory. It's like I didn't know till like a year ago. I did a sequel to Christmas Vacation in the early 2000s with Randy Quaid, and that was really bad too.
And the second Christmas Story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're making a third one right now. I could be wrong about that.
Oh my goodness, they need to stop.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Hey, Hollywood, please have an original idea.
No, thank you.
There's like only 18 original ideas, but let's let Max go.
But
He's been chomping at the bit.
Jingle Away, I believe, if I were right, I believe they based the story a little bit off the real life Tickle Me Elmo fiasco.
Oh,
think-
that makes sense.
I think that's what I got somewhat of the story from. Just that the desire to get your toy, the one thing they want the most, and not being able to get it, and to the lengths that a parent would go to make their kids Christmas special. So there's the message, Jacob.
And I will say, I do believe we had a Turbo Man as kids. I do
Birdman
believe
was
we
a cool looking doll. When Arnold Schwarzenegger put on the costume as a kid, that's what we waited to watch the whole movie for. He looked great in it. But Jacob, this movie has Phil Hartman, legend. I don't understand what you don't like about it. I mean,
he didn't
Phil
like the
Hartman,
cookies.
Dad,
Like,
Arnold Schwarzenegger. You didn't like the kid from Star Wars? Is that it?
doesn't help.
He was actually good in this one.
Yeah, he's actually much better in this movie than in Star Wars.
What?
Is
I'll be honest, I have not seen this since like I was like maybe 5 or 6.
Why don't you do yourself a favor?
You should watch it
Watch
again.
it, then report back, and if you still find it as good as you thought it was.
No, I will do. I will have to report back.
Someone else to be on his side.
He's just upset because we bashed him during the overrated movies. So you know what? He's just upset over it.
Hey guys, apparently
At
there's
least he
6.
submitted a list.
Apparently there's 6 Home Alones, and one just came out like
Yeah,
Uh,
the new
yeah.
one,
10
the new
dates.
one's just terrible.
Dude,
I saw a
That's always
YouTube
one.
video about
All right,
that.
hold on. We might be talking about that movie
Oh, yeah,
later,
okay,
so
yeah.
let's leave it for that.
All right. Yeah, fair point.
Did you watch the movie?
Way to derail us, Ian.
Sorry.
What's next, Phil? What's next?
All right, so the next one is gonna be the most well-loved of all Christmas movies, according to this critic, as well as the inspirational, thorough, festive ending is guaranteed to bring tears to the eyes. All right, it is the old classic featuring the original Tom Hanks type character, James Stewart, the good guy. It's a Wonderful Life. It was voted on by 2 people, coming on with 18 points. Catan put it number 1. I put it number 3. We are the only 2 people that put it. It got 5th place. The rest of you, I don't know what you all are.
I'll get on my hand.
I don't know how you don't put this. We're like, Catan, I'm going to let you start. And myself and D3 might be having an argument later about this.
Yeah, but Bobby, I thought you liked this movie too. But anyway,
I love this movie. It's my top 10 all time, but it's not a Christmas movie.
Never seen it.
Okay. If you guys haven't seen it, this movie is a classic. Honestly, it'd probably be in my top like 1 out of 5 movies like of all time. It's a really. I'm not going to spoil the story too much if you guys haven't seen it, but basically it's a.
Most people know this. It's been done many times.
Okay.
The story's been done many times.
It's
1946. You had time to see it.
True. If you haven't seen it yet.
All away.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, it's a really good movie. It makes you feel. It's kind of like, this is what I told some of my friends. If you guys ever watch The Twilight Zone, it's kind of like that, but there's actually like a good ending. And I'm not just saying that because black and white.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Wait, what? How was that shots fired? Anyways, but yeah, it's not like that just because black and white. It's because it's also, you're going through kind of like this parallel thing of like something's going on, something's out of place. And so what's happening in this story is the main character meets his angel, or someone that's trying to become an angel. And what is it?
Clarence.
Yeah, Clarence. And he gets the opportunity to kind of look what life would be without him, because he feels like so much like self-pity, and like he feels like he's done so much stuff wrong, and so he wants to see, his wish is kind of like to see like what would stuff be without him. And I won't spoil too much into it, but like still, just in case, but like I will say, like in the movie, like he finds out things are not as it would seem without him. Like he really puts an impact on people's lives. And so it's one of those like things where it's like, it's fun to think about like what would life be without you, because it's very possible we could have had a universe where, you know, you just didn't exist. And so it's just it's an uplifting experience. The acting in it's really good. I forget the main guy's name and also real life person.
George Bailey.
He does a fantastic, like his performances are just on par like with every famous actor. He's so good in it. The story is really nice, everything like that. I could go on, but it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
So I'm going to go, just to say correctly, George Bailey is the character that James Stewart plays.
Yes.
So what I'm going to get into is, this is actually the only one that's on my list that I think it's the only other one that's on my list that I saw as an adult. I actually didn't see this till I was like in college. After some friends were talking about it for a long time, and one night I was up late and I was just curious about it. So the reason and why I disagree with D3, who put, mind you, on our horror movies, put a movie because it was so critical to horror movies and said all these things that started from that horror movies do nowadays started from this movie. Well, all these things that Christmas movies, how many Christmas tropes come from this movie? It's a Wonderful Life is amazing. One, angel loses. Anytime you hear bell ring, an angel gains its wing. Yeah. This movie. What would my life be if I didn't? That trope is commonly done because of during Christmas time, because of this movie. I think the end of the happy ending where all these people come together to enjoy a nice time. This movie. James Stewart, one of my favorite actors. He always played the good, nice guy. I mean, you can watch Mr. Smith Go to Washington. Like, that is legit who he does. I joke like he's the older version of Tom Hanks, like kind of not. Old version of Tom Hanks, like not as transverse, because Tom Hanks played a little more. But I think it's just right across the board, just a good message about kind of like how important we are and how different things could be, because you start seeing like all these people's lives would have been horrible without him if he wasn't ever born. And that's kind of what brings about it. It's a very interesting kind of story of how it gets to that. And it shows you kind of why the town reveres him in such a way and the sacrifice he's given. So really does a great job for pulling for the main character and all that he's given up in order for other people to succeed. So I love this movie.
Yeah, before Clarence meets him, he's in a really down spot too, and so it's uplifting to see like him go through his like struggle, and then he gets better at the end.
So it's a great movie. This is my top 10. I think it's number 6 on my top 100. It's a great movie. I am never going to say it's not a great movie. As you said earlier, Christmas has to play a vital part to the story. It does not play a vital part at all. Clarence was sitting down because George Bailey wanted to commit suicide after his uncle lost about, $10,000, $5,000. The Christmas that had any factor in that. Christmas was barely in the movie. It was really in there just so Uzu could say every time a bell rings, an angel could get his wings. Christmas is not a factor in it, but everything about the movie is great.
Is a factor in the movie, and if we're just going by, oh well, Christmas is not in the movie. Okay, Dracula's not that scary and shouldn't be a horror movie, but
Well,
you put it in that list anyways. It's so true. How many Christmas movies nowadays would not have been made without this movie? And how often is this trope done? How often is this trope done from this movie? How many tropes from Christmas?
I'm not mad on the list. I just don't consider it a Christmas movie.
Well,
And
you're
if you
wrong.
want to know, on AFI's Villains and Heroes list, both Potter and George Bailey made the list in the top 10.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I didn't even hit on him. Great actor.
Yeah.
It's going to be Lionel Barrymore. Does a great job. He plays part of the bad guy.
The last name does sound familiar because Drew Barrymore is related to him. I think that was her uncle or great uncle, something like that.
Probably great uncle because he was still like it was made in the 40s and he was like pretty old in that movie.
And the
Yeah.
reason why he's in the wheelchair is because in real life he had really bad arthritis, so that wasn't just a part. He actually was confined to a wheelchair during that time. And
Yeah.
surprisingly, this movie did flop when it first came out.
That happens.
So it's a great movie.
And the reason why it's so popular now because they forgot to maintain the copyright for it. So when the copyright lapsed, everybody started putting it on TV because you had to pay for it.
If you have not watched this movie, please watch this movie.
It's
And
really
if you don't like black and white, they did make a color version of it, like a colorized version of it, so you can see it in color if you want to. But black and white has a more pure look to me.
I'll stick to the way it was intended.
Yeah.
For those weirdos like Hunter who can't watch a movie in black and white, they do have a colorized version.
I got two things. Welcome, Rambo, to the pod. So hi, Rambo. And to Ian, I'm going to talk to you after this about your Twilight Zone comment. I'll just let you know that.
Wait, what
That's
was
Twilight Zone comment.
wait,
He
what
said
was
good
the
ending. He's trying to say
He
Twilight Zone.
said,
I think he meant it's good, but
I
like
know.
a nice ending, like good,
No,
not like
no.
a bad,
Oh, no,
like
no.
horrible, like
No.
it's a nice
the
ending.
way he said it made it sound like all the
yeah,
endings of Twilight Zone were garbage.
yeah.
no. The clarify, the
Oh,
clarify.
shots
I like the
fired.
Twilight. I like the Twilight Zone a lot. I was just saying, a lot of times the Twilight Zone things do not end up in a
No,
good
I know what
spot.
you meant. I just the way it came out of your mouth was disrespectful.
Okay, that's what you're saying. Twilight Zone's a classic. It's not Christmas.
All right.